Howdy, this is Eric Dahl. Hey, I just want to thank you once again for scheduling your automation marketing consultation. Now, this is I should have sent you an email, and in that email, the subject line is important documents, and you should have gotten this worksheet. And this worksheet is the worksheet that we use to build out funnels. Okay, like I promised you guys in the presentation. If you guys saw the sales letter or the video, I do talk to you guys about the fact that I'm going to sweeten the deal by giving you guys a worksheet, a very valuable worksheet. And so what I want to do in this video really quick is I want to cover the worksheet, because I'm not going to have time during the automation marketing consultation. It's an hour and a half, usually an hour and a half. If it takes, sometimes it might take longer, but typically an hour and a half. We don't usually ever have time to go over the worksheet at all, because it's really critical to focus on building out your automation marketing consultation, or the building out your funnel. Okay. You have an idea of what that campaign might look like, and it does literally take an hour and a half to do that, sometimes more, depending on how challenging your business is. Okay, so I don't like to dilute that time going into this that much, so I decided create a video to help you guys navigate this worksheet, right? Because this is a valuable worksheet. I want you guys to get the most out of it. So with that disclaimer, here it is. So the first worksheet, I call it the Autopilot Marketing Funnel Revealed worksheet. And this is because it literally is a autopilot follow-up system in the background when you have it all set up. Okay? So this is what it illustrates. So basically here it says a returning client or lead. When somebody becomes a lead, or even they're a returning client, they're interested. So they're in what we call the interest series. Okay, now once we're in the interest series, the goal is to get people to now take action on purchasing. So if they purchase, so it goes yes, then they're in the action sequence. And so the action sequence where you start your upsell process, and you start upselling, and this can be emails, it could be a voice broadcast. It doesn't matter what media you choose for this follow-up process, but the point is you're constantly focusing on what's important to your prospect, client, lead at that moment, at that juncture. So that's why I call it the 5-stage follow-up, because you're always talking to the client in a way that's relevant to them and what they're interested in. Okay, that makes sense. So you have your interest sequence right here, and then you go into your so it goes no. If they're not interested, it goes into the action sequence right here. Or sorry, this is actually incorrect. So sorry to confuse you. This actually say if it's no, if they go to the interest series, and if it's a no, it actually should just go into the attention series. But I think the way that is drawn out here is it goes no, and then it goes around. So I guess that's true. It's just how the graph designer wanted to illustrate this. So we actually have a couple different illustrations of this. So if they don't purchase, they don't go into the upsell, the action sequence. They go into an attention sequence. And what this attention sequence is all about is really just trying to re-engage and get the prospect's attention again on something else, on a different lead attractor, a different promotion, whatever that is, right? So they go into the attention. So you're trying to get their attention again. Okay. No, you don't get their attention again. You go into what they call the qualification series. So the qualification series is really you're trying to qualify this person more intently to make sure they even belong on your list in the first place. Because if they're not buying any of your stuff at this point, you're giving them really great deals, relevant things that are going to solve their problem as you see it, and they're not taking action. Why is that? Do you have the wrong email? What's going on here? So the qualification series is the focus is trying to just make sure that people on your list belong there. So you run a campaign really to that effect to get them interested again. So let's say you run this qualification, for example, and they reply back to you, yeah, sure, I'm still interested in what you got. Then now they're back, okay, into your interest series. So, I would actually have a line that goes back to here. But I think for simplicity's sake, this person's just back to your your interest action series area. Just think of it that way. But really, you're just re-engaging them. They're like, okay, yes, we're interested again, and now you're back. They're back on your list, and you're trying to re-engage. Okay. If they never ever re-engage, you take them to what we call the cold list, and these are just these are people that are on your list that you might maybe every once in a while follow up with them, but they're not going to get consistent communication from you. They're cold. And they remain in the cold list until they warm up again. So you can either start the process again, but typically with the cold list, the chance of them becoming warm at this juncture is pretty low. So a lot of times you can even just delete them from your list or move them to a different email service provider, for example, if you're doing emails. So does that make sense? Hopefully it does. But again, if you have any questions on this during the automation marketing consultation, good time to ask some questions, because sometimes we look at these illustrations. There's certain little details that aren't quite illustrated, right? So you have to take notes and just plug in those little details. Just like I said here, someone's interested, right? We take them to the action sequence. If they're not interested, then they should just go straight to the attention sequence. So you can see how it should just went to the attention. So, but you take a note of that. Okay, well, actually from interest you go to attention. Okay, and then from attention you go back to interest. But you can't see that from the diagram. But this is where you take notes and you make those adjustments to your thing. I mean, that's just a lot of times you'll see that in a lot of documentation. You gotta make sure that you follow the logic and you make your own notes and you just kind of see where things are going. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So it's you get there, they're interested, right? They indicate they're interested in what you have to offer. They're interested. Then from there, you're trying to get them into action, actually becoming a customer. And then if they don't take action, then you're trying to get their attention again and get their attention again. If you do, then great. They're back into another interest sequence, and you start the whole process again. But let's say they don't take action or nothing happens, then at that point you take them to the qualification series and so forth and so on. So this is very important because this can literally double or triple your results if you follow this process. Okay, because every step you're talking to people at where they're at in the process, what's relevant to them. Okay, so we'll keep moving through this. Okay, so here's a worksheet where you actually write down what apparatus, what content you're going to be using. So what lead attractor are you going to be using? Okay, are you going to be using a report? Or are you going to be using an infographic, a checklist? What are you going to do to pull leads in? Okay. What is the product or services that's in your funnel that you're going to be trying to get people to buy? Okay, so you list that here. Okay, product and service, you list all that. Then here, what are you going to do when they show interest in your lead attractor, right? Because that's that initial lead attractor. How are you going to follow up with them? So you want to write that out. Okay, 4 emails, 2 phone calls, 1 direct mailer. Okay, whatever. You write that out. Okay, that's your interest series. And then what's your action sequence? So when someone does buy that first offer, okay, how are you going to upsell? Okay, what is your primary offer? What is your customer value optimizer? What is your high ticket offer? So you start to kind of track how you're going to run those campaigns and how you're going to convert them. Okay, take notes on that. Your opener series. When someone is initially a lead, how are you going to open up the conversation? How are you going to help them like and trust you? Because that's really what this sequence here is all about. Okay, so that's it. In a nutshell here. And then we go down to here. This is the full funnel optimization tool. This is where you write down what you have so far. And this would be great if you could, do this for the automation marketing consultation. I don't know if you'll get around to it. What are you guys using for lead attractor? Do you guys have a trigger offer? What's your primary offer? What's your this should say customer value optimizer, and then which is a profit maximizer. And then this should say high ticket. Okay, so you got one of the earlier editions of this worksheet, but that's fine. Don't worry about that. Just make sure that you write out what you have, right, where your assets are. And again, we'll talk about this. I mean, the whole goal of this $20 consultation is to fill out this, really it's recommended treatment here. So write down your control. What do you have in place? Okay, what do we need to add to that? And that's what the automation marketing consultation is. Recommended treatment. Then from there, timelines for implementation, and what changes might you make? What are some ideas to test? Those kinds of things. So this is really important. We use this actually, this framework anyway, all the time in our advertising. Now here's just an example of a buyer's path, right? So we got the lead attractor, we got the trigger service or product, we got the prime offer, we got the customer value optimizer. We're missing the high ticket. The high ticket should be right there. Okay. But again, take some notes, put that, note that, need to have a high ticket. What's the high ticket there? And it's a filtering process, as you can see. We have all these leads up here, and they filter through to lifetime value. Okay. So this is an illustration of the marketing funnel. Okay.